welcome back to another episode of Reading with Role Models. My name is Hollis with the Hullabaloo Book Company, and today we are bringing you Sheriffs Cindi and Craig from the Orange County Sheriff's Department. They are going to read a fantastic book called Tiny T-Rex and the Very Dark Dark, and then we're going to talk a little bit about talking to our kids about emergency protocol. So we hope you enjoy today's story, and we'll see you in a little bit. Take it away, Cindi and Craig.
Hi, Hullabaloo friends. My name is Investigator Sanders.
And I'm Deputy Sanders.
We are both police officers, and I'm sure you all know what police officers do, but we take bad guys to jail, we help friends when they're in need. We work for the Orange County Sheriff's Department, and if you don't know where Orange County is in Southern California, and it's an area that is right in between Los Angeles and San Diego.
And the most fun part of my job is getting to help people when they need help the most. We get to drive fast and respond to people's worst days and make it better.
So today we're going to read to you Tiny T-Rex and the Very Dark Dark. This book is by Jonathan Stutzman and illustrated by Jay Fleck. We also want to thank Chronicle Books for giving us permission to read this awesome book together. So Tiny T-Rex and the Very Dark Dark. It is our first camp out in the backyard, and we are nervous. We have never slept outside before.
We are mighty beasts. I am a Rex. Pointy is a Pointy, and Bob is my special squish.
But even mighty beasts get scared if we can't sleep with our nighty lights.
When I am inside, the dark doesn't seem so dark.
But when I am outside, the dark is very dark. Outside, there are no nighty lights to turn on. And when there are no nighty lights, the grumbles and nombies come out. You can see all the nombies coming out of the trees over here.
Mother says, there's always a light shining somewhere, Tiny, even in the dark. If you are brave and look hard enough, you will find it.
But it is hard to be brave when you are scared of the crawly creeps, and it is hard to look for something when you have your eyes shut.
Pointy and I thought up a secret plan to be brave. When the very dark dark comes, we will be ready.
First, we will build a hiding fort. Here they are planning out their little fort over here.
To hide our snacks.
And ourselves. They're hiding in the fort over here, making their snacks. And what do we have?
Constructing their fort with a tree.
I don't feel hidden. You see him popping out of the fort there.
Next, we will make special helmets to protect our brains from the grumbles and nombies.
I need a bigger helmet. His head doesn't quite fit in the little helmet.
The next part of the plan is the most important. We must hurry. We are running out of time. The crawly creeps are closing in. Tap, 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 tap.
I hear the grumbles. They are close. You see the grumbles getting close?
Run, Pointy. The nombies are here.
Here come all the nombies. See them all coming in over here? This is it. Our secret plan is almost ready. Looks like they got some lights going on. They have a tent and a lava lamp inside their tent. Let's find out about their secret plan.
Now we will not be scared of the very dark dark because we have made a super bright nighty light.
Click! Yeah, let's see if it works.
Wow, that's a lot of light.
Big nighty light on. You can see it. Our plan did not work. The very dark dark has got us. Looks like the lights went out.
I am scared. Pointy is scared. Bob is scared. We are all scared together. Maybe we can be brave together too. Brave enough to open our eyes. Look very, very hard.
Let's take a look. Oh, here they come.
Wow, look at all the stars.
Taking a look. And find some light. Look at that. They found some light by the stars. And I think that's the end.
The end. All right, friends, thank you for letting us share this book with you. Now we want to talk about the importance of calling 911 and knowing your address. When you call 911 for things like emergencies, if mom and dad need help, or if somebody is in great trouble.
The other thing we want to talk about is the importance of knowing your address. Most of us would be calling 911 from a cell phone. So if your moms and dads have cell phones and we use those cell phones to call 911, it's very important to know your address, and your address is where you live. Sometimes when you call 911, it may tell the 911 call taker where you're calling from, but sometimes it won't give them the exact location. So it's very important to know your address. So talk to your moms and dads about your address, know your address, and know when to call 911. All right, Hullabaloo friends, that's all we have for you today. Thank you for allowing us to enjoy Tiny T-Rex in the very dark with all of you. We hope everyone is staying healthy and enjoying their time at home with their families, and we will hope to see you soon. Bye.
Thanks, Cindi and Craig. What a fun story about being afraid of the dark. I know that we all feel that sometimes, and so it's nice to know some tips and tricks to make our kiddos feel safe, and who better to talk about things like that than you guys. So I really appreciated Cindi and Craig's thoughts on what it means to make sure that our kids know their address and their pertinent information if they ever have to call 911. And it got me thinking about whether or not my 3.5-year-old son would be able to handle himself in an emergency. So I crawled into his blanket fort a little earlier, and we had a conversation all about it. Here's what happened.
And there's a bad guys.
An emergency is when there is a bad guy?
Yeah.
Okay, what else can be an emergency?
Fire.
A fire, that's good. What else?
Ambulance.
When you need an ambulance? When does somebody need an ambulance?
So they get hurt.
If they get hurt. Here's Henry. Henry says hi. What does it look like when somebody gets hurt?
Have an injury.
An injury?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can get super fast and rescue the people.
And they come. Who comes to rescue the people?
The ambulance.
I see. Do you know how to get the ambulance to come to our house?
You call them.
I call them. What do I call them on?
On the telephone.
Okay. And do you know the number to call on the telephone?
Mm-mm.
You don't? Okay. Maybe we'll learn that later. And when they pick up and they say, "What is your emergency?" what would you do?
You get the ambulance to save them.
If mommy was sleeping and she wasn't waking up and you called the ambulance and they say 911, what is your emergency? What would you say?
You say I'm injured.
Somebody is injured? All
Yeah.
right. Do you know what a policeman looks like?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
A policeman have a police car have a sign up top,
Uh-huh.
and the back the police car is the baggage there.
Okay. Do you know what a fireman looks like?
Fireman looks like it's an ambulance.
That's the ambulance. Sometimes firemen drive ambulances too, right?
I
So
can get the fire truck.
if you are in trouble and you need help, can you go to a policeman and ask them for help? If you see one on the street? Yeah. And if a policeman knocks on your door at your house because you've called in an emergency, do you let them inside? Yeah, good. You ask who is it at the door, and they say it's the police, and you open the door for them. Can you tell me what your whole name is?
Huck.
Great.
There's a museum local policeman.
Good. What's your address?
Like,
Oh, okay, that's part of it. That's good. That's good. Okay, buddy, thanks. I appreciate this chat.
Yeah.
Okay, he did better than I thought, but we still have a little work to do. I did some research on the internet to see if there were some easy ways to talk to our kids about emergency protocol, and here's what I learned. We can use safe and not scary phrases like, what do you do if mommy goes to sleep and she doesn't wake up? I am teaching Huck to go next door. We have a nurse who lives next door, and we have a teacher who lives around the corner from her. So, and we live in New York City, so he's just going out into the hallway. He's not running down the street. But if he were to knock on their door and say help, I know that they would come and help us. The other thing that we need to do is we need to teach our kids how to access the emergency button on our cell phones, make sure our cell phones are always charged and they know where to get to them. Most of us don't have landlines anymore, so it's important that they can reach an emergency line via our cell phones, especially if we have a lock screen. That is something that we don't suggest, that the internet doesn't suggest teaching until they're about 4 years old, because we certainly don't want them calling 911 for fun. So you can teach them these skills in airplane mode. You can also download a couple apps that will do call and response activities with the kids to teach them what they're supposed to say in situations like this. I think we might do that next because we all know that the kids love playing on the phone. Lastly, we want to make sure that kids can recognize safe people, police officers, EMTs, firemen, and know that anytime that they're in trouble, they can always stop one on the street, in the mall, in the parking lot, and make sure that they can get help. I've also taught my kids that if they ever need help, they can go to a mommy. How do you know what a mommy looks like? They have kids. So I hope that these tips help you guys. I hope that it encourages a conversation about knowing your full name, knowing your address, and knowing how to answer questions like 911, what is your emergency? Especially in times like this, we think it's important to do a little not scary check-in with the little ones. I hope that you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you have any questions, you can always email us at help@hullabaloobookco.com. And if you're still on quarantine like we are, we hope that you stay safe, stay well, and stay home. We'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye.